Kade Jones, and I'm here at the University of Pennsylvania, November 24th, here for a class project for World Civilizations of Donahue, Period 8. And the University of Pennsylvania is a very interesting museum. It's one of the oldest in the country, and it's on the University of Penn's campus. This campus is very nice and extremely old, and that's where the origin of this museum come from. They cover everything like Egypt, China, to Greece, to Italy, Rome, and so on. Hopefully I have a fun time. Let's go. This is Hakuman. He's one of the many mummies that the Egyptians mummified or embalmed, and the Egyptians invented mummification, and people still do it today, and that's why it's very important in today's society. I mean, we mummify people today, but in a different sense. We don't wrap them up in paper and to keep them in the afterlife, but we do it to keep them intact. And basically, the afterlife was very important to the Egyptians, and they believed in many different gods. So they would preserve them for the afterlife, so they could live eternally and live forever. Well, as you see here, we have various items, including rings, pendants, blades, and axe heads. And this one in the middle, number 3, is called a ritual blade, dating all the way back to 206 BCE, which was the Han Dynasty, which we learned about in class. And what else we have? Oh yeah, so this basically started like hunting tools, and this is very important today because without hunting we wouldn't be able to survive. We also have, we have axe heads, which is another weapon that we use to, chop down trees for wood, for fire, for wind, and more hunting tools. So here we are in the Bronze and Iron era, and most families during this era wore their own clothes. And the animals were obviously very important because this was the material that which they wove the clothes from, which was a plant, a fibrous plant. And these are some tools around the house which are very important to make these materials and clothes. So we have knives, which is to cut. We have spools, which is to weave the clothes and combine them to make the material. And we have pottery. So we have mosaic form here, and as you can see, it's very detailed. And the Romans took this concept from the Greeks. So they took this concept during the 2nd and 3rd century BCE, and this basically replaces carpeting. And this is very important in the Roman society because it meant something. As you can see, we have words or letters along the mosaic tiling, which obviously have a meaning, and it was very decorative. So up to the 1st century BCE, Romans used glass as a material. But beyond that, they enhanced the idea of glass into an artwork. And they sold over 100 million vessels every year. And the first glass workers in Italy were slaves, Syrian slaves, Judean slaves, and also Italian slaves. And as you can see, these vessels are very detailed. So the Greeks established the Olympics. The Olympics were basically a series of sports. These sports included track, field, wrestling, and boxing. They would compete for a prize. Athlos means competition, and athlon means prize. The Greeks admired a perfect body. They admired this because they wanted to please God, and a perfect body means to please God. And to the Greeks, the Olympics were very important. So papyrus paper is a form of paper but made out of animal skins. The Egyptians made papyrus skin and copied it in order to write history down. Without papyrus paper, we would have no history. It would just be handed down vocally. And these libraries contain some 700,000 papyrus rolls, and that's not even it. Most of them were destroyed in antiquity. This papyrus is very, very, very important to society today. So I'm here with Mrs. Lawson. She works at the UPenn Museum. I'm going to ask you about the sarcophagus. So what do you do with the sarcophagus back there?
Well, it has a lot of condition problems from
Right.
the original construction is many small pieces of wood taken together, and then it's covered with a gesso-like material and then painted over that. And so the layered structure doesn't respond very well to changes in humidity. So that caused a lot of the damage there, you see.
Right.
Some of it was probably also from transporting it to the U.S. from Egypt in the late 1800s.
Yeah. So you're trying to like put it back together and fix it?
Yeah, preserve what's there. That's our first job, to preserve what remains, and then so shoring up all the cracks, consolidating all the pieces that wanted to fall off.
Is that difficult? Like to?
It's very time-consuming. That's been up here. Nobody that's working on that constantly, but people working on it off and on. But it's been up here for over a year now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So as I wrap up my UPenn museum tour, let me just say this first. It was a great experience. I learned a lot about Greece, Rome, Egypt, and Iraq. And I can't forget about China. So I thought it was a really good experience because the people here are very helpful, and the writings as well are very helpful. And the UPenn Museum is very user-friendly, I guess you could say. I mean, it's very simple, and it's easy to get around, and I had a really fun time. Lytton. Sarcophagus. What do you do with the sarcophagus? Alright, yeah, I can't do this. To make a Lytton.
No videotaping, please.
Sarcophagus. What do you do with the sarcophagus? You can add that.